Like to keep everybody? Very nice. Bagels, right. Well, good morning. I guess it is still morning. But what is happening is the deadline for enacting congestion pricing is rapidly approaching. As you know, the City Council and State Legislature have up until March 31st to act. And if that deadline isn't met, the city will forfeit $354 million in federal transportation funds that are contingent on city and state approval for congestion pricing. Failing to act really would be an enormous missed opportunity to clean our air, green our environment, and fund the mass transit projects that our city really desperately needs. Now, we've received a lot of feedback on congestion pricing, and I will say most of it is positive. New Yorkers support congestion pricing as a way to fund mass transit improvements. But we've also heard concerns that residents who live in communities around the congestion pricing zone would have a hard time parking because commuters will leave their cars on the streets. And we aren't going to let that happen. Today, I'm announcing that our proposed congestion pricing plan will include a system, the details of which still have to be worked out with the legislators, for setting up residential parking permit zones, if communities want it. It is a process that would be initiated by local residents and protect them and neighborhood businesses. Automobiles registered at addresses within such a zone would have priority in parking on the zone's residential streets. Unregistered drivers would not be able to use reserved spaces on those streets as free park and ride lots to avoid congestion pricing fees or for any other reason. Briefly, here's how we propose that the process of creating a parking permit zone would work. Community residents would get the ball rolling by proposing the zone's boundaries and the time periods when parking regulations will be needed. Then there would be a formal review and approval process involving the local community board or boards, the affected city council member or members, the Department of Transportation, and the borough president. And once the zone is approved, the city would then issue annual permits, like the one that we have right here on this easel, for display in registered cars. Permitted cars could be parked in the restricted zone, areas of the zone all day, and unpermitted cars couldn't. Here's why. Under the system, it would be illegal to park unpermitted cars in restricted areas during a certain period of designated days. For example, that period could be from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. weekdays, as the sign over here suggests. Carving out that period in the middle of the morning would, if you think about it, effectively prevent most daytime Manhattan-bound commuters from leaving their cars in restricted